Welcome to episode 8 of the Hot Mess Roundtable. This week, we are going to be talking about guilty pleasures. My name is Lauren, and I'm a hot mess this week because of Goldie's new allergies. So my baby has some allergies that she's had her whole life because she's had eczema her whole life. And we've just kind of figured out maybe what those are after seeing the allergist. And so I'm like kind of rethinking her diet. Yeah. So like she can't have eggs. That's hard. Like... Yeah, like she eats a lot of pancakes and like processed foods, and now I have to think about, is there an egg like in this dough that's been cooked? And so anyway, it's just a little tougher to think about what she can and can't have. But the good news is we're going to clear up her eczema. And she's going to be so much happier because she's miserable.
Good.
Yeah, it's good to have answers.
It is. My name's Jordan, and I'm a hot mess this week because work has kind of been brutal lately. Like there's just a lot going on. I've been traveling. It's just been a lot. And then I don't have time to focus on things like this podcast. And then you guys are like, it's fine. We're going to wing it. And I'm like, that's the most stressful thing you could say to me because I want a plan and an outline and to really understand what we're going to do for the next hour. But here I am winging it. It's going to be great.
We have a plan. We'll get there.
We're fine. It's going to be fine. It's
fine.
Dumpster fire. Everything's fine.
Great.
My name's Amanda, and I'm a hot mess this week because I don't know. There's just still so much going on. Just trying to get my house in order. Still, seriously, it's just crazy. I can't get anything
ongoing
done.
Project. It seems like
it is, and it's starting to get warm though, so I'm getting super excited about that. We can open the house up and air the winter fog out.
It was 70 degrees today, and I had every window in this house open.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm so jealous because if I was home, everything would be open. Well, when I left, Cameron had all the doors open, so I was very excited about that. But
I noticed you had the side window open.
Yeah.
Is that like a basement, like a yard level?
Yeah, it is. It's ground level.
Do you think that's where the snakes come in at?
No, the snakes come in right behind Amanda.
Yeah, that's great. I'm
underneath
so excited
the porch.
about that.
Yeah, it's like underneath the front door kind of thing. Like they like wiggle in somehow, Thor says. But like Monty for sure comes out from... Thor has this royal nunsuch canvas. That's an Easter egg for theater kids right there. Nobody else knows what that is. Thor has a full-on like, I don't know, how many feet is that? 10-foot royal nunsuch banner. Weird. In the basement, and I'm not going to explain what that is. You just have to either know what it is or not.
And I don't think Amanda and I we still don't know what it is.
Nope.
But
not telling you because it's fun. I'll tell you whenever we're not recording.
Okay.
And so they wiggle in behind this banner, like where the front door is upstairs, and Monty, the cat, likes to get back there and get them, and he'll like jump out of there with them.
Okay.
First time that happens, I'm going to be up the stairs recording. I'm not a snake person.
It will be such a loud scream on this podcast, and I will not wait for you bitches. I will be up the stairs.
You're going to race me upstairs, are you?
Screaming, and Thor will like already be walking towards the basement.
Knowing what's going on.
Knowing that he has to go deal with it with like the most annoyed look on his face.
Someone either just got murdered or there's a snake.
Snakes in the basement.
Yeah, he knows. He knows the snakes
on the plane. Snakes in the basement. I just wonder. I saw that window and I was like, oh, that looks like a good snake coming in.
It would be, except it goes to the driveway. And so, I don't know. Like, do snakes like to be on, like, gravelly?
I mean, one time we had, like, this huge black snake that was dead out at the end of our driveway. Like, in the road.
I don't even want to talk about it. Ugh.
Okay.
Your mom's not going to listen to this.
Sorry, KK.
Sorry, KK.
Sorry to bring it up.
Oh, good.
She's been in the house before when snakes have gone out. I will never forget. My dad had a little bit to drink, and he's standing in my like dining room, and my mom and I are sitting on the couch, and we're just looking at him, and I was like, what is wrong with him? Like, he's just kind of looking down, and I'm like, he didn't have that much drink. What is wrong with him? And he's just like, you got a snake in the house. And Mom and I both just like, ah! Like, we're just like, oh my God.
Run out the front door.
It was, I'll never forget. I don't know if I'm sure she does remember that, but like, I will never forget that.
Have I told the story about the lizard eggs on this podcast?
Oh my gosh.
No, I haven't heard that story.
Okay, so my my dad, when I was a kid, my dad used to be a stump grinder. And it doesn't sound like a job, but it was like work for a tree service. And then he ended up just like buying the equipment to do it on his own. And so he used to go out and grind stumps in people's yards. And there would be like a big pile of mulch, afterwards. And one time when he was doing this, like in the mulch and like the wood chips, he found these eggs, clearly eggs, but he didn't know what they were. And so being my dad, he like puts them in a Ziploc bag, like what he'd taken his luncheon to work that day with some of the wood chips. And he brings them home and he like puts them on the counter and he's like, we're going to see these, whatever this is, we're going to see if it'll hatch. And my mom's like, no, we're not. And she like closes the Ziploc, closes it, but she leaves it there. And my dad would come into the kitchen behind her and he'd be like, no, they need air to breathe. And so he'd like open up the bag. And so he staying up later than her.
Do eggs need air to breathe?
Well, I don't know, but I guess he thought that they needed like
oxygen.
Oxygen to
okay
hatch. I don't know. Not a biologist.
Me
Parents
either,
are not
obviously.
also not biologists, but I can tell you that they did hatch. And so mom wakes up. Well, we wake up because I lived there at the time. Wake up one morning and there's a little blue-tailed skink.
Oh, the skinks
or whatever.
Yeah.
All over the house.
Oh my God.
And he'd come in behind her and open the bag and they'd hatched overnight and they were everywhere.
Oh, I do think I've heard that story, but like that's terrifying.
Yeah, it was. They kind of still give me the heebie-jeebies, but
We have one in our front yard that's like lives around our front porch.
and
And he's about 3-4 inches long. Doesn't bother anybody, but every once in a while I'll walk out on the porch when it's sunny outside and I'll step down and it's just I'm like,
oh yeah, they're fast. They're fast.
Well, okay, so one is kind of cute, right? Like one's like, oh, cute
one
little
I'm
lizard.
good with.
Like 100 in your
Hell
kitchen
no.
is like a
You
problem.
have to catch and like get outside.
No,
That's like a problem.
that's a huge problem. That's a burn the house down problem.
Well, they didn't burn the house down. They still live there, but
Do they still have skinks inside?
not inside. But I've seen outside, and I wonder if they're like
they have
ancestors.
Colonize their yard with them.
Oh, just met one of that's a very like Lee Smith thing. We've also had like bullfrogs in our house. We've had chipmunks. We've had all kinds of stuff.
Flying squirrel.
Chipmunks. I would keep the chipmunk. A chipmunk is a pet.
Well, the chipmunks like ran into the house. The bullfrogs, my dad like brought home and put in a fish tank one night.
Oh God.
Oh.
Which they could jump and jumped, and got and like opened it.
Yeah.
Because it was just like a flap on the top, jumped right out of there. So it's just my dad. That's very my dad. These are my dad's stories.
So did he have to catch it?
Yeah, they had to catch. There's two, and they had to catch him and get him out of the house.
Well, luckily there's only 2.
Yeah, there wasn't like 100.
Right?
I'll tell another mom story, which I feel bad because I actually don't feel bad at all. But I know I tell stories about my mom every week, but it's because she's like such an interesting person. And the other day at work, her colleagues were like, "We're learning so much about you, KK," and she's like, "Great." But when we were kids, my sister and I caught a field mouse.
Like what? So one.
One field mouse.
Okay.
And we put it in a shoebox and we brought it inside. And we're so excited. We had this little mouse. My mom freaks out. And she's like, "Oh my God, no, you have to take it outside." And we, of course, like brought it into her bedroom to show her.
Look, Mom, look what we got.
I can't remember what happened 'cause this was so long ago. Like I was so young. Like either she freaked out and hit the box or we dropped the box. Somehow the mouse got loose.
Oh no.
Oh no.
And she locked us in her bedroom.
With the mouse?
Yeah, she said, "You are not coming out of that room until you find that mouse."
That's in her room. She's not gonna sleep in there.
We couldn't find it.
Oh my
What'd you do?
God.
We looked for it for, I don't know if she even knows this part, but we looked for it for a really long time. My sister, I'm crying. I'm crying. It's so funny. We looked for it for a really long time and we couldn't, this mouse it was like the size of my thumb. Like it was such a little mouse and we could not find it. And so finally we just lied to her and we just brought the empty box out. We're like, "We caught it. You want to see?" And she's like, "No, take it outside. Take it outside." And so I don't know whatever happened to that mouse.
Oh no, KK.
We never caught it.
You might have had a mouse in your room for quite a long time.
We never caught that thing. I have no idea what happened.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Her mother. She just cracks me up. I love her so much.
All my secrets are coming out of this podcast with her. Okay, Amanda, what are we drinking this week?
Well, this drink comes to us courtesy of Sunny Miser, one of the girls that I work with. She suggested it on our Facebook page.
Yay!
It is tastes like a root beer float is what she puts on it. It is rum chata and root beer, and it is. She said equal parts. We did about an ounce.
Yeah, we did like an ounce of rum chata and 5 ounces of root beer.
Because we weren't sure.
nervous.
We were a little scared about it.
It's very good,
But
though.
it is very good. And it does.
Actually.
It tastes just like a root beer float.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I will say I was really nervous about this one, but I'm committed to whatever drink you guys put in that Facebook group, I will drink.
Yes.
We're going to try
We're gonna
it.
We'll
try
at least
it.
try it.
Yeah.
And
if
so-
it's good, we'll get drunk.
That's right. And so we did. And actually it is really good. So.
It is very good. So,
Thank you, Sunny. Good suggestion.
suggestion, Sunny.
All right. So this week we're talking all about guilty pleasures. So what are your guilty pleasures?
Well, Jordan, you were just saying you don't really believe in guilty pleasures.
I
You wanna
totally
talk about what
don't.
it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you think about what is a guilty pleasure, I mean, they always talk about things if you watch rom-coms or if you listen to 80s music or whatever your guilty pleasure is, right? I read things on the internet about certain things you eat can be a guilty pleasure or places you go. And I'm just saying I'm debunking the myth of a guilty pleasure right here. They're just things you like.
Yeah.
There's no reason to feel guilty about them.
Oh, no.
I can say that as a weird kid. I was a weird kid growing up and
Oh, same.
there's nothing to be guilty about.
No.
I think it's fine to unique or different things that maybe the norm do not like.
Yeah, you don't have to be cattle. Everyone doesn't have
Right.
to like the same thing.
Yeah, you're exactly right. But I also think there's things that maybe when you're introducing yourself, you would not share.
It wouldn't be the first thing you share.
Right.
You wouldn't advertise about yourself.
Yeah.
Obviously your close friends and significant others can be privy, but maybe something you wouldn't put on your Instagram.
This week we're gonna broadcast those
Yeah.
things we wouldn't normally tell those people.
It's so everybody
all
gets
over
to
this.
know.
Yeah. So everyone
Yeah.
can
All
tell
our
us.
secrets.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your non-guilty pleasures?
Mine?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the thing that maybe I don't tell people when I first meet them is about my paranormal podcasts, which I love, and we've talked about that on this show before about how I like the paranormal stuff. And I'll tell you the reason I like it. I love a good story. I'm an avid reader. I love going to see live performances of musicals or plays or ballet or whatever because I like a good story.
Yeah.
And I like podcasts because of that. And I really love a good story that I can kind of get lost in and just not have to think about real life for a little while. You know, a story about a corporate woman who's stressed out about work is not escapism.
Yeah.
For
No.
me, right? So I want that
no.
escapism from real life. And there's no better escapism than aliens and ghosts, right? It's just fun. They're
Yeah.
fun stories. I'm not worried about being real. And so I love it.
Yeah.
Wait, can I ask? So I
Yeah.
also really like paranormal stuff. I love
Yeah.
a good ghost story.
Do you really? I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, but especially if it's either something that happened to somebody I know or something local, local folklore type stuff. So yeah,
You want to know something else interesting about my mom?
yes,
Yeah.
She has ghost stories, you guys.
She does.
She's a full-on sensitive, I'm telling you. She would never admit to it, but she has multiple stories. We're bringing her on this
Yes.
podcast
I wanna
at
hear 'em.
Halloween. At Halloween,
Okay.
KK is going to come, and we're going to talk her into telling the ghost story. She knows exactly which ones I'm talking about. And
I want to hear him.
She's totally going to
Yeah.
My mom does too. There goes to
Really?
my parents' house. Oh yeah, for
do it.
sure.
Okay, she's got to come on too.
Well, I don't know. My mom's will want to come on her, but I will
Neither does
happily
KK.
tell them.
No,
but they
KK's
are-
coming on here. She doesn't
They
have a
are.
choice.
Yeah,
I
no.
pretty much told her
So
that.
Kathy gets to choose, but KK is forced. This
Correct.
isn't fair.
That is correct.
Yeah.
You heard him, KK.
Yeah.
because
We have a ghost at our house.
A real ghost? Mm-hmm. Please do tell.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's weird because so our house Cliff's mom and dad lived in, and they noticed things too, when they were there. And then when we were there, Cliff and I would be sitting in the living room watching TV. It'd be at night, kids are in bed, and it sounds like somebody's walking up our stairs. And we'd look at each other and I'm like, who the hell's coming upstairs? Why aren't they in bed? And you'd sit there and wait, and you can literally hear the stairs creaking coming up and then come up the landing and then come up the next stairs. And Cliff goes, well, she must be roaming tonight. And I'm like, shit.
How do you know it's a she?
We've always called it a she. I don't know if it is or not. So
This is fascinating.
our fireplace, we have a rock fireplace. Mm-hmm. And it's got like some little crevices and stuff where like the cement settled and whatever. But there's like this little cubby. And Cliff's mom can attest to this because, she lived there. There is a gold cross pendant in that little cubby.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and you just leave that be.
We do not touch it.
Yeah.
We don't know where it came from. We don't know who
That
it was.
belongs to that ghost or that house.
We do not move it. And I will tell you, Emily, terrified.
Really?
Was terrified of that. And, we could, that it doesn't happen all the time. It's just certain times that, we can hear him come up the stairs. And then there was one night, Cliff and I were laying in bed, and we heard her come down the hallway, like go into our bathroom. And I was like, is that Jake? And he goes, no, Jake's asleep. I just checked him. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's definitely something there. It's never hurt anybody. It's never like, it's not evil. It's just, she's just there. And the dogs crack me up because there's a certain spot in the wall when they're laying, they just stare at this spot in the wall. Or they'll look up at the ceiling. And whenever Emily would walk by and they'd be staring at the ceiling, she's like, stop doing that shit. You're driving me crazy. Something's going to happen. And I'm like, they're fine. So, I mean, we don't know who, what, where, where it came from or anything. But
Have you done any research on like the history of your home?
so our house was built actually by our neighbors.
Uh-huh.
We live next door to the Bolin family and like kind of on their land in Nixa. And so they had their land split. Mama Shirley she's got like the original house on the land. And then our plot, we have 2 acres, and it was her son, Bill's, and he built our house. And so then his sister's like across the street from us on her plot. So Bill built the house, but we don't know, like we know him, we talk to him. I mean, we still talk to him, but we don't know what's going on there. But I need to find him and talk to him and just kind of see what's going on there.
Yeah.
Because it would be interesting to know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's our little ghost story.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, and we've had a couple of weird things, and it's my grandma. My grandma died in the house. It was her house. Like,
You think your grandma's still there?
oh yeah.
Fascinating. See, I've never had anything like this happen to me.
Yeah, well, just the other day, like up in the boys' room, we had some Duplo Legos, like on they were on Collier's desk up there, and they're supposed to be in the bathroom, but for whatever reason, they were on his desk. Collier was at his dad's that night, so he wasn't there, and someone took the Legos and like took them and like swiped them off the desk because we heard them clatter onto the floor.
And nobody was up there.
Nobody is up there. And which is kind of mischievous. And I don't necessarily think that my grandma would do things like that, but she does help me find stuff sometimes. Like things will be missing. And then they just
From
appear.
Matt doing his Tarzan devil
Yeah.
cleanup. Okay.
And then they'll just appear. And that to me, it's my grandma.
Yeah.
And like she's come to me in dreams and told me she's happy that we're in the house because it was hers. Like, I don't know.
That's
It's
awesome.
just her to me. She died in the house, like I
wow.
said. So, and I was there. Like, we were there.
So that the boys' room was not her room.
No, our master was her
Okay.
bedroom. It was the room upstairs was my dad's
Okay.
and his brother's, they had like twin beds in there, but his brother actually died before they moved to that house. They lived in a house in Southern Hills before his brother died when he was like 21. And so at first I thought it may have been him, but then I clarified that he died right before they moved to that house. So it could be him.
So this is me watching too much Supernatural, Jordan, as we've talked about this. Could they have taken something to that house that was his? Like
Oh,
he
shit,
would have
yeah.
been, he was tied to it.
Oh yeah, so that room that my boys are in now, it's a bigger. We have 2 bedrooms on each floor, and it's on the top floor, and it's like the bigger bedroom. For my whole life growing up, there was a black trunk in there, and now that trunk's in the hallway, and we keep blankets in it. But it had his clothes. It had a lot of his. He was really into nice clothes, and it had all of his sweaters and things that were his.
Okay.
It was in that bedroom, so it could be.
Could very well be.
Yeah, definitely. And my grandparents bought the house in 1968. My grandma died in 2013. So she was there for a considerable amount of time.
Yeah.
And then our family's had it since then. We've officially bought it in 2022. but we've lived in it on and off. So I'm pretty sure it's my grandma. Could be my uncle, I guess. But
That is a fascinating story. You guys both have such good stories. Nothing. The only scary thing in this house is Monty the cat and his snakes.
which is terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well, and
to be fair,
yeah. Yeah. No, it really is.
Yeah,
but I
it is.
didn't really realize that you were into the paranormal stuff. So see, this is like
Love it.
a guilty pleasure.
I love it. I love it, but I refuse to feel guilty about it.
We
Yeah.
shouldn't feel guilty.
No.
But it's not something that you have advertised about yourself, I guess I would say.
Yeah, I think that
If someone's like, what are your interests? Like top 5 interests, you wouldn't be like, well, I'm really into paranormal stuff.
I don't know if people would realize I'm that into like musical theater either, though. You know, like I don't know that I tell people a lot about myself.
I knew that. I didn't know the paranormal.
Oh, well, there you go.
And we've been friends a long time.
Okay, then what is one of your guilty pleasures, Lauren?
Well, like for media type stuff, I really like reality TV. Like the trashier, the better. Because it's so different than my life. So definitely escapism.
Okay, what's your favorite reality show?
Well, right now I'm watching Marriage at First Sight. That's what it's called. Yeah, Marriage at First Sight, which I used to watch a lot of and haven't watched it in several seasons. So I'm watching like the latest season, which is 17. And
Oh my God, there are 17 seasons of
Yeah.
Married at First Sight.
and there's like couples that have made it. Married at First Sight. It's on Lifetime. I watch it on Hulu. And it's actually not that trashy. It's not like Love Island trashy or like
That's what the girls
like
watch.
It's a little or this is taking it way back, but like Rock of Love
Rock of
or like
Love, that was-
Flavor of Love.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so old and out of it. Like I don't even know what these are. We don't watch
Oh my God.
any reality show.
I remember going to sorority fraternity exchanges that were Flavor of Love themed.
Oh
and
my
like he
gosh.
like Flava Flav and he like wears the big clock around his neck like on a
Oh yeah,
chain.
yeah, I do know who that is. Yeah.
Okay.
The rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I mean that's probably a little trashier than Married at First Sight. Like it's a little classier, but definitely like that type of thing. Real Housewives is good. Beverly Hills is always my go-to. Yeah, like the trashy television that I mean, I like I like television that has a good plot line and well, it's just easy.
Yeah. We don't do any reality television really, except for, and I don't know if you call this that or not, but we do like the like private island property hunting where like the couples go to buy like an entire private island and then they show them all these different islands or these like ridiculously expensive houses and like, you know, the Hamptons. And they'll always be like, what's your budget? And they'll be like, well, my husband's a part-time school teacher and I sell beer koozies knitted by hand.
But our
on
budget
Etsy.
is like 1.4 million.
Yeah, exactly. Our budget is $5 million. And you're like,
Clearly they have a trust fund somewhere.
yeah, like how do I fall into one of those?
Right.
Because that is not my budget.
And see, that is escapism.
It
is unlike your life.
It is. It is like my favorite part of that show is like that moment right there when they
Yes.
tell you what they do for a living
Yep.
and what their budget is. And I'm just like, how the hell did this
Yeah.
happen?
Right. You're like doing the math and it does not compute.
It does not add up ever. And it's like always that.
Yeah.
Or like some guy that clearly makes a lot of money and like a wife that he's just looking to deposit there and walk away from. You know, like it's like one or the other.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So that would be, I would like from a media standpoint, I also like romance novels. Also,
Really?
it's not something I would advertise.
Like spicy.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say spicy.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Are you
the
into like
spicier the
spicy
better.
books?
Yeah.
Oh,
For sure.
okay.
And that's also like, usually they're not great. Like they're not that
No, they're
well
so
written.
poorly written.
Yes.
Right. But it's just something about just like escapism. It's not my real life.
Yeah.
Like I love my husband, but just like just reading trash. It is trash. It's
Because you don't have to think about it. Like you said, it's
No.
that escapism part
and it's
of
not
it.
like emotion. Like it's not something you're gonna read that's gonna make you cry or like sad or like. It's,
I do genuinely wish, though, they would write them better.
I agree.
So I love to read, and I read books all the time. And I don't usually do spicy books like the romance novels are not. Usually when I go for a romance novel, it's like a like a teeny bopper, like she's a princess and falls in love with the prince. They're pretty like PG-13, you know, like they're very like, I love a book written for a teenage girl. Like I just feel like I still so relate to those teenage girl feelings. Like give me that
teenage girl in a
8-year-old body. Yeah. I don't even know how old I am. Somebody else will have to do the math.
You're 37.
Okay.
I just turned 37.
Okay. Thanks for that. I feel old. But I am reading my first ever like truly spicy book series right now. And I got hooked on it because of TikTok.
Okay.
Because I was scrolling through TikTok and there's book talk is huge.
Did you get to the spicy part of book talk?
Yeah, well, as far as I can tell, there's only a spicy part of book talk. Like, I don't know if there's a clean part of book talk.
I don't either.
But it cracks me up because, like, they'll show, like, some guy and, you know, like, unbuttoning his shirt or something. And, like, everyone in the comments, like, oh, he's clearly Gavin or, like, whatever his name is. Like, some character from some spicy book, right?
Yeah.
And they're, like, they all, like, deem this guy to be him. And it cracks me up. So, but then they've started doing this thing on TikTok where they will post a passage from a book. Mm-hmm. And then you get kind of invested in it.
Yeah, you do.
And you're like, oh, I need to go.
Where's that book?
So the passage that got posted on this book was like Revenge of the Heart is what I think the name of the book was. It's like the first of like a 5-book series. Well, the passage was like pretty impressive. Like she's like the daughter of this mob boss. And like, it's like this whole, and I'm like, oh, this is fascinating. I'm going to go read this book.
Is this a true story?
It was way spicier than I was prepared for. And the writing is so incredibly bad. But I kind of got invested and now I need to know what happens to her. Like, is she going to die? Is she going to, like, what happens to her? 5 books I'm going to have to read. I'm only halfway through the second one. They're terribly written. Like, ChatGPT could have written a better book.
It's very hard to get through them.
Well, it kind of is, except for also it's really easy to read. So I can, like, burn it in a couple of nights, honestly, which is, like, a bad trait I get from my mom. Like, we're both really bad at, like, you get invested in a book and then like at 2 a.m. you're still reading your book. You know, like it's not good. It's just so bad though, because they keep using like she'll use like the same phrases. Like right now in this book I'm reading, every time she wants to say like, he smiled, she says his lips curled. And I'm like, that's already not a great passage. Like, I don't like the imagery of that's creating. And you've said it like 18 times in the last 2 chapters. It drives me crazy.
It just grates on you.
It does. Like, it's just not well written.
Yeah.
But her character development's actually really good, and I'm invested in seeing what happens to these characters.
Okay, last guilty pleasure for me that I can think of at this time, off the top of my head, because we didn't plan.
We didn't plan.
So
Jordan's over there freaking out.
And I've already told her.
I just find it really stressful, and I just think that, you know, like you plan fun, and everybody knows they're going to enjoy these very specific topics we're going to talk about in this specific order.
Well, we're talking about them.
Yeah.
But how many topics are we going to talk about? And what order are we going to talk about them?
Matter.
And when is it?
Like,
how do we know when the show's done?
When we get done talking.
It makes I feel like bugs are crawling on my skin.
Good.
Okay.
It's good for you.
Yeah, this is a good. This
I
is
don't
a good
think it is. Like, I'm
good
gonna be medicated
exercise for
afterwards.
your anxiety.
Listen to this and be like, oh my god.
Next time I'm bringing you Xanax.
I'll drink it with my vodka. We'll see how it goes.
Good. It'll be good. So the girls laugh at me for this one, but is my addiction to Andes. So I order the same damn thing.
It's the same thing. I thought it was different things.
No.
Well, what is it?
Okay. Well, and I say every day. I haven't been in like a week, so that's kind of an issue. But I go to Andy's like almost every day.
Real bad for it.
I go to Andy's almost every day. Andy's frozen custard if you're not local, and I get a peanut butter and peanut butter cup jackhammer concrete, which is a concrete with like something in the center, and then I get peanut butter in the center. So first of all, it's healthy because there's peanut butter in it, which is a good source. Which is a great source of protein.
Okay.
So
this is probably like a 1,000-calorie snack.
But it's not a snack. This is what I eat for like lunch.
This is her meal.
Okay. I mean,
do you know how many times I left the office and went and fucking got a Andy's lunch, like for lunch?
I saw it a lot. Yeah, I saw it a lot.
Well, I started when I was pregnant, which is which is fair because you eat weird shit when you're pregnant. But it just didn't stop, and I still do that all the time. But and it's definitely a pleasure, and I feel guilty about it because I feel like that's not normal to eat I mean, I feel like if you eat like a scoop of ice cream before bed out of your freezer at night, like that's not weird. But it's the fact that I drive and get like a $7 concrete once a day. I have to like leave my house to do so. And I usually eat one either for lunch or for dessert after dinner. So there's several that are within driving distance of my house. Like I would say like within 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. And so I alternate going to different days. Jordan is rolling her eyes because I don't want them to know.
How many times?
Right. Even though I use my rewards and I'm pretty sure they can like just see that I'm like getting rewards every single day.
I think you got to liberate yourself from that and just own it and
just go to the same one.
Yep.
Well, I will tell you, so I have done something similar, maybe not every day, but I do really love the salad at Pasta Express.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
I love it.
It's good.
It's delicious. So I got into a bad habit when I was working from the office every day of almost every single day leaving and going through the drive-through of the Pasta Express on Battlefield in Jefferson and getting myself a large salad and sitting in my car listening to a paranormal podcast, eating my little salad, and then going back to work, right? I realized it was a problem when the owner of the place who works the drive-through window a lot, he was like, "Do you have a rewards program?" And I was like, "No, I didn't know you had a rewards program." He's like, "You definitely need it." I am coming here too often. How I learned this is a problem.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
that's
thankfully,
funny.
Andy's uses, I'm pretty sure, like very part-time help. So it's a
There
lot
you
of different
go.
people.
Yeah.
And the one on Sunshine, I think, adds more toppings than the one on Republic and Glenstone. So I prefer the one on East Sunshine. But it's maybe a minute or two further from my house.
She's got this down to a science.
And they recently closed the one in the Fremont Center.
Yes, they
They
did.
did.
Which
Yep.
was maybe the closest. I don't know.
That was for sure the closest one to my house, I feel like. And it was
Yeah.
the most conveniently located at least. And it's,
Well, and there's one at Sunset and Campbell, which is just a quick jog down Sunset from me. So sometimes I go to that one too. But it just depends.
my hot take on Andy's, it's not my favorite.
Yeah. It's fine.
It's fine.
What do you like better?
You know, well, I really like Cold Stone.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Cold Stone's very good. But you have to go in there. They don't
That's
drive
the
through.
thing is because you have to go into Cold Stone,
Oh, yeah.
I eat it like once a year.
Yeah. I don't go in places.
I also, if we're getting ice cream, like, well, honestly, my favorite ice cream treat is for sure going to be an ice cream cake.
Oh, yeah.
From like Dairy Queen?
From Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen specifically.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I only get them, like, I usually ask for that for, like, my birthday or, you know, and so you'll get, like, your little slice and, like, that's, like, the one time a year I eat it. But, like, love me some good ice cream cake.
Cameron got me one for Christmas or for my birthday this year.
Yeah?
And she was like, "Mom, what kind of dessert do you want?" And I'm like, "I'm not a huge dessert person. Like,
Yeah.
there's not one specific thing that I like." And she's like, "What about an ice cream cake?" And I'm like, "Ooh, with the little crunchies in the middle."
The crunchies in the middle. That's what makes it so good. I'm not a huge sweet person either. Like, I would probably rather go for salty stuff than sweet. Like, give me, like, some extra chips rather than the sweet stuff. But I don't know. I don't know. Andy's, I just feel like it's really expensive for what you're getting. And I would also say, and Thora thinks this is like sacrilege, but I think Brahms ice cream is better than
Oh,
Andy's.
no. Brahms is great.
Brahms
And
is
it's
really good.
cheap.
But it's different.
so cheap.
It is.
But it's different. Brahms is ice cream. Andy's is custard.
That's right. And see, my first job was working in a frozen custard place in
Oh,
Ozark.
that's right. That's
Cruising
right. I
USA.
didn't know that. Yeah.
And it was not when it was between Ozark and Nixa. It was when it was in Ozark. And I loved it, and I ate it all the time.
What was it?
And I was skinny at the time, and I could just eat the shit out of that and didn't gain a damn pound. Just not the case anymore.
You were so tiny when I first met you.
Yeah, thanks.
Are you still super tiny? You're still super tiny.
Well, listen,
for the record.
that was 4 kids and 2 marriages ago.
No, you were like super tiny when I first met you though. Like you're still super tiny, but you were like a size 0. Like she was
yeah,
like,
it was tiny.
like so tiny.
Wow.
Didn't have boobs. Like, yeah, just itty bitty. And that's not the case anymore.
Lauren, it's not the case
you're
for any of
beautiful,
us,
though.
so we're not going to worry about
I
that.
think you're
Sorry.
way more gorgeous like this.
Oh, thank you.
I think you're beautiful.
You have to say that because you're my friend. But
No, I could tell you if it looks like hell. I'll let you know.
listen, you look like shit.
I'll let you know.
But it's the Andes. I got to keep my ass.
There you go.
And so I just eat the Andes.
That's funny.
Amanda, what are your guilty pleasures?
We're not on top.
And on that note,
I mean, binge watch. We binge watch TV. I can't tell you how many times I've watched Supernatural. All 15 seasons.
so wait, you both now have talked about Supernatural, and I am out of the loop. Is it paranormal or is it like
Yeah.
Yes.
okay?
So it's two brothers
Yeah.
that travel the country, like fighting off
hunting
paranormal
monsters and fighting off this stuff.
ghosts,
Okay.
monsters, demons, angels.
Why did I
God.
think it was like?
God.
Why did I think it was like a Superman show?
That was
Smallville.
yes. And we watched that too. That was the
Completely
good
different.
one. But yeah,
I don't know why I had
that's
that
about
in my head.
Superman.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about Superman. No, Supernatural is like my go-to.
Was it on like the WB? Or
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
it was.
Okay.
I'm not a rewatcher. Like I cannot read. Like once I've heard the story, I've heard the story. So I don't rewatch shows. I don't rewatch movies. I don't read books. But I can remember just about every single episode of Supernatural.
See, and you
It
know
was
what's funny? It's because
amazing.
I've watched it so many times, and I honestly have seasons 1 through 14 on DVD. That's how bad it is. But like
Do you
I
have
can,
a DVD players?
I do. I think we still have like the little itty bitty DVD players out, so I can at least watch that. But yeah, I can watch it, and I still find new things. I'll be like, what the hell? Well, I didn't see that before, you know.
Yeah.
But I guess my biggest one though is I love music.
Okay.
We are a huge music family, and there's not any specific genre. We listen to everything. I would honestly rather have the music on than have a TV on.
Yeah.
If I'm home and I'm cleaning, there's music on. If we are outside in the barn, we've got the barn doors open, speakers, everything, music's going. There's always music going with us. And we've just kind of passed that on to the kids. I mean, Emily is my concert goer. She's gone to so many concerts, and she's dragged Cameron to many of them and took Jake to his very first concert. And her and I have gone to a few. And so, I mean, that's just our, I don't even want to call it guilty pleasure, because
No.
I absolutely love it.
None of these pleasures are guilty.
No, I
Well,
don't
maybe
feel like
going
they
to
are.
Andy's every day.
Maybe not the healthiest pleasure, but I'm still not going to say it's a guilty pleasure.
It is healthy. It has protein in it.
It is
Well,
not
you're going to
healthy
have to
anymore.
watch that peanut stuff with your daughter now.
She can't have it. I can. I'm not breastfeeding anymore. It's fine. So what is there a certain type of music? Like is there so I know you like all music or a lot of music, but is there a certain genre that you would not advertise that you love? Like maybe is there something that you listen to that maybe other people don't typically like?
I kind of stick to country, but like 90s alternative is basically like, that would be my guilty, because we listen to that a lot. The majority of the stuff that we listen to is that. Now I came home
What
today and my son was
Give me some
listening
examples
to
of some
Like
bands.
Stone Temple
'Cause
Pilot,
I feel
Stone
like
Temple Pilots,
Nirvana, Sublime.
this is just music.
It is.
yeah.
Oh, we listen to the same kinds of music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, they call it 90s alternative. I came home today and Jacob's listening to some death metal band. I have no idea who. I go, where did you hear that? And he goes, oh, one of my friends was playing it and I really liked it. I'm like, okay. And then the next song that pops on to his playlist is like a Beatles song. Seriously. And I'm like, well, that was a weird transition. He's like, yeah, but I like it. I'm like, if you like it, that's
All right.
fine.
That's cool.
So it's because you grew up with that kind of music, right? I mean, so mine is like maybe a decade later, like 2000s alternative rock, like Train.
Train. Yep.
Imagine Dragons. So like whatever that
Yeah.
looks like, right? I love Train. It is like if I only ever heard Train play the rest of my Train and Michael Bublé are like my
God.
go-to.
You were like a 55-year-old cat lady.
Kind of. Kind of.
The Michael Bublé. I'm just like,
I love Michael Bublé. He's also on TikTok and he's hilarious.
okay, that is a guilty pleasure.
TikTok?
No, Michael Bublé.
I was going to say TikTok is a 100% guilty pleasure.
I refuse.
Everyone's doing.
I
Yeah.
refuse to be guilted about Michael Bublé. He's fabulous. He's fun.
Yeah.
I like his family. I like his story.
Yeah. Yeah, we listen to everything. 70s rock, I mean, that's what Cliff and I grew up with, too. Our dad's music, there's some music that some people don't listen to it, but how the two of us ended up together and our dads listened to the same kind of music is insane to me. Like, they love Pink Floyd. Mm-hmm. They love The Doors, that kind of stuff. I go to people now and they're like, who, what? What is
Who?
Pink Floyd?
Who are you talking to that does not know who Pink Floyd is?
Oh,
cut them out of your life.
Yeah,
like, just
pretty much.
move on.
Me too, yeah.
My dad is responsible for my music education. I mean, the Eagles,
Yep.
Creedence Clearwater Revival, The Doors, all of that.
Yeah.
Loved it. I'll never forget, one of my dad's favorite stories to tell about me is that when I was a teenager, I was listening to Kansas in my bedroom, and he walked by and he's like, "What are you listening to?" Because he was just surprised that his teenage daughter was listening to Kansas. And I was like, "Oh, it's this cool band. You don't know him. It's Kansas." And he's like, "Pretty sure I do know him." Here's the thing, though. I know Kansas was from his generation. He likes to think that it's because I thought they were some new band. No, I just didn't think he was cool enough to know who they were.
They were, yeah.
That's my public
Dork.
rebuttal to that story. Yeah. It's like, I knew it was classic rock. I didn't know he was cool enough to know who Kansas was.
Yeah.
They're a great band.
Yep.
That's so funny.
And the girls listen to so much different things. Like, we were in the car going to Little Rock last weekend, and Cameron's like, "Can I play some music?" And I was like, "Okay." And holy shit, I was like, "Oh, okay." And she goes, "You have to listen to the whole thing." And I went, "Oh, okay." And I don't even know who it was. It was just this it was like a hard rap, and I'm just like, "Okay, can you change it back to what I was listening to?"
Like, not do that anymore.
Like, we literally just come from a Cody Johnson concert, and here we're listening to this, every other word is an F-bomb, and I'm like, okay, I'm open-minded, but wow, that just went from all
I still,
over.
to this day, will put on CCR or Three Dog Night, and just that's my easy listening in the background. Although if I'm having a bad day, or if I'm trying to work out and listening to music, or to get my energy up, I love bubblegum pop, true, Katy Perry, Taylor Swift.
You and Helen. Helen loves that Katy Perry.
I love Katy Perry and Taylor Swift both. They've never written bad songs. I
No,
love
they're
their
fun.
music. Meghan Trainor. Oh my gosh.
It's fun.
Love it. Because it is so much fun.
Yeah.
And it's positive. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I feel like I have such a wide array of music that I listen to, from Matt and I punk, or he listens to more hard punk music that it's a little too much for me. But from that to a lot of classic rock. But I also like pop. I mean, I can get down with some Katy Perry, especially if Helen will listen to it and it's not a Minecraft parody of a song, because those are god awful.
Oh, what?
Yeah, there's all these parodies of songs that are Minecraft lyrics.
I love it.
It's all no, you do not love it. Let me just tell you. My kids are really into it and they're really bad. One is what's the Coldplay? Da, 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 da. Anyways, it's a Coldplay song.
Okay,
and
I'll believe you.
My kids but we listen to the Minecraft version. It's called Hero Brian's Life, and it's really, really bad. Okay. So anyways, but I don't think my mom realized when I was a kid, she started buying me albums, and I think she just was buying me or CDs at the time. CDs of what was popular, but I don't think she really realized that it was maybe not appropriate. I think when I was in, I want to say 4th grade, which would have been about 97, is I think when Jagged Little Pill came out.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Alanis Morissette.
Oops. Yeah. Definitely. My mom definitely bought me that CD. I don't think I asked for it. I think she just got it for me. Still to this day, a perfect album.
Oh, it is.
Front to back.
Yes.
It is.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It is one of those,
album.
don't skip any of those songs.
Nope.
You listen to all of them.
You know every word.
Every word.
And I remember doing dances, was putting on shows with my parents to those songs, but they have a lot of bad words, and so I would just have to hum that part, because I would I don't know, I'd have a choreographed dance, and so not appropriate, not appropriate for a 10-year-old to be singing not appropriate for a 10-year-old to probably even be listening to the unedited versions. But Mom, God love you, because it's still, I mean, I felt like I had a cooler music taste than a lot of my friends too. Like I wasn't listening to Boys to Men.
I always felt like that
Men.
too. I always felt like because I listened to my dad's music.
Right.
I always felt like my musical taste was a little more evolved.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Same.
But it was definitely always very rooted in classic rock.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how wide the genre was that I listened to, but I've created a new playlist on Spotify that he's like, here, let's listen to this and let's listen to this, and it's like we're talking. We went back to Otis Redding and like Aretha Franklin,
Yeah,
and then you jump ahead to, you know, I don't even know who's new. I listen to the same thing all the time. So,
But Post Malone.
Post Malone, exactly. You know, you jump to that and you're like, wow, that's
my
such
husband
an array.
is like this. My husband's like this. He has such an eclectic taste, and somehow he like knows everything. Like I'm like, did you see this news story, or did you hear about this? And he's like, yep, already heard about it. And he can like fill me in on details, and I'm like, how do you know everything?
Yeah.
He does.
He does. He really,
Really
does.
does know
And,
everything.
well, and he's kind of dangerous with it because sometimes he'll lie to me just to see if I
Just to
believe him.
That's so tricky.
And if I do believe him, he will just wait for me to repeat that to somebody
And then he'll laugh.
silently to himself. Like he's a bad person, you guys. But he listens to all kinds of music, but his favorite music is like a genre I never really listened to, like old school rap.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
if Beastie Boys sang,
Oh
yeah.
We can get down to some Beastie Boys.
and he will
Yeah.
recite
Every
every
word.
word, and he'll be like totally on beat. And like
Love
my
it.
husband is actually
That's awesome.
like a karaoke king. Like he does not do it very often, but he's got some really good karaoke songs. But like he will bust out that old school rap, and I love it.
That's
like I
awesome.
love. I think it's like my favorite thing to watch him do.
I think I can imagine that.
Oh yeah,
Like he's just like, I feel like he's just full of surprises.
he is
Yeah.
just like under like a layer of grump. He's like
Yes.
a whole.
That's a good
fabulous
way
person.
to describe
He really
your
sparkles under
husband.
there.
Under the layer. Well,
Once you let him into your like, if he lets you into his inner circle, then like you can see like, oh, he's fabulous.
yeah. Just got to get past the grump layer.
Yep.
What else is a guilty pleasure?
Oh, I have a whole article because I had to Google it, of course.
Because you just don't believe they exist. Or that we should feel guilty.
Well, I was just like, you know, I can't remember which one of you suggested this, but I was thinking about it when I sat down to like write an outline that I felt like I couldn't put together. I was like, what exactly is a guilty pleasure? Because I just, again, don't feel like we should feel guilty about anything we enjoy spending like as long as it's legal. Why are we? Why
Yeah.
do we feel
Because
guilty?
it's legal.
Yeah.
And just about everything is these days.
Right?
So, although not video gaming.
That
What?
is not. I don't.
Did you see that? No, not like playing video games. Did you see like the video gaming, like the video casinos? They shut them down. You know
in
what I'm talking
Springfield.
about?
Yeah. Because there was one next to Avanzari, which is one of my favorite restaurants, and I'm always like, that is a trashy.
Okay,
strip
but
there.
that call and serve has been there like 10 years. That one that was the call and surf one was there with not the one that like didn't have a real sign, but the one that had a real sign.
They're all pretty sketchy.
It's been there for like 10 years, flying under the radar. And like, I swear, 5 years ago, I was like, Matt, that is not a internet cafe. That is not what that is. That's what it's playing off to be. But I was like, it is not an internet cafe. Because I was looking at the reviews, because I'm like, what is that place, right? And it's always busy at weird hours. I'm like, oh my God, it's a casino.
Oh, that's funny.
And I was telling him about it, and the next thing you know, all these other ones start popping up. One starts popping up next to Dancing Mule across the street, my favorite coffee place. Then someone gets stabbed there the other day.
Jesus.
Because they were smoking heroin in the back room.
Oh my
Yikes.
God.
They had an argument over like a cell phone or some shit. Yeah, it's crazy. But anyways, that stuff's not legal anymore. So if anyone's guilty pleasure was going
Was
to
the casino.
the local video game casinos.
So I've never been in one of those.
No.
What is it exactly? Is it just slot machines, or is it like something more nefarious?
No, I think it's basically slot machines.
Just
I think.
underground.
So
Yeah.
we did go into a little slot machine thing, but I think it was in Oklahoma. I was on a mission trip with my church a
Excellent.
long time ago, with my parents' church actually, and we went into like a gas station or something in Oklahoma. They have a lot of those, like where it's just like casinos attached to, but just like little casino with just like slot machines. And I remember our pastor Rodney was like, "Okay, you guys, quickly, please, we need to get back on the road." And like everyone played a couple slots, and then we got back on the road and kept
Off you
driving.
went?
Yeah.
Okay, but so like I've been to a casino.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's different.
But this was like just slot machines. And it was just this tiny little room connected to a
gas station.
But I didn't feel like it was like skeezy or anything.
I feel like in Oklahoma that's very common.
normal. Yeah. And because I think like they have laws set up for that.
Right.
But yeah, I've always just gotten the impression that the ones in Springfield were like skeezy somehow. Like not like
It's
I
not an impression. That's
how they are.
That's the fact.
Yeah. Okay.
So bad. Like then that's the plaza. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, but I feel like that's why Avansari was building their own building.
I was gonna say now
moving out of there.
Yeah.
Well, they're also next to like Patricia's, the adult superstore.
Well, the whole
That whole little area is a little sketch.
Yeah,
so.
the whole plaza, but the business owners I know got together and were like filing complaints because of all of the increased criminal activity because there were several of those in that shopping center. And then like I said, there's one across the street. I think they said 20 or 25 is how many they had listed that the police were going around and notifying.
God.
But I know the Signal down the street from my house has them. And I was there last night and there's still people playing them.
I said there's a liquor store in Nixa that has them. And we walk in there and I'm like, holy shit, I didn't even know those were in there.
Yeah.
And people are just in there just feeding money into them like crazy.
For hours.
For hours on end. Yeah.
Someone
as long as
posted-
they're open, they're in there.
Someone posted a picture in What the Fuck Springfield of like a little kid like sitting next to one, like playing on their tablet or
While
something.
mom's sitting there gambling away. That's sad.
That's what I thought.
That is
kinda
sad.
But I feel like that kind of comes with that territory, I guess. So anyways, if that was your guilty pleasure, sucks for you.
sucks to be you.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're going to have to make the trip to downstream.
Yep.
Okay, this article I found was from SWNdigital.com. And it says, study reveals America's most common guilty pleasures. Okay, and it lists the top 30 American guilty pleasures.
Okay. Any good ones?
Ordering takeout because you can't be bothered to cook. This is also, it's a study of 2,000 Americans responding. And so 42% said that was a guilty pleasure of theirs. That's a thing I do at least once or twice a week. And I refuse to feel bad about it. I'm freaking busy and I'm not going to cook every night. It's not going to happen.
I feel like I do that when Matt goes to drill a lot because it's like I'm not cooking for myself, but also I deserve a fucking good meal.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to drag the kids out.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to drag him even like through a drive-through somewhere because we're just not leaving the house. So I do a lot of that when he goes to drill, and I don't feel bad about it. It costs way too much money to order through like DoorDash or something because of all the fees, but it's worth it.
Yeah. That DoorDash ordering, that is insane.
It adds up.
It
real
is
quick.
so expensive.
Adds up so fast.
But I do it. I do it at least twice. And we
there-
usually pay over $50 for a meal for two.
Oh yeah.
But
is there a service that you think is better on the fees and stuff? Because I feel like you use it more than I do. Between
probably
like
use it more than anyone does.
DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats.
Well, I have been told that DoorDash is better for the drivers and that they prefer DoorDash, which makes me want to
Interesting.
use that. But
Right.
Amazon, a while back, like, I don't know, 16 months ago or so, told us that, like, because I'm a Prime member, they were like, oh, you can have Grubhub for free for a year. And I was like, okay, then I'll use Grubhub. And so I don't have to pay for Grubhub Plus. And so I used that. And then at the end of my year, they were like, oh, we're going to go ahead and give all the Amazon people another year. I'm sure because Grubhub's like, please keep ordering from us. And so I get it for free through Amazon.
Okay.
So if you have an Amazon Prime account, it is worth going and looking at your Amazon perks because you might have stuff like that sitting out there.
I did not know these
I
things.
didn't know that either.
Ladies,
I know you are the Amazon queen.
Yeah,
Late.
for real.
you got to go look at your Amazon perks.
I just ordered through Amazon Pharmacy for the first time this week.
Ooh,
Have you used that?
I've never used that. Well, tell me more about it.
Well, I don't know a whole lot about it, except that I have been off my antidepressants for a week because I have been too lazy to go into Hy-Vee and get them. And my husband's like, you need to get those bills. So, but this is how lazy I am. The Hy-Vee drive-through is broken. And the whole reason I switched to Hy-Vee
Is because of the drive
from Walgreens is because Walgreens was pissing me off because their drive-thru was always a bajillion miles long. And they were slow. And so I was like, well, I'm going to switch to Hy-Vee. I'm always there anyways getting groceries, like through the pickup because I don't go in. Well, then now their thing's closed. I'm like, well, I'm not going to park and go in just to get my pills. Like, that's a pain in the ass. And so, so I thought about switching back to Walgreens, but that just seemed like a lot of work. And for some reason, my Walgreens account won't sync with my meds I don't know why. So whatever. So I'm like, you know what? I just saw the other day on Amazon, they have Amazon Pharmacy now. I'm going to give it a try. So easy to transfer from Hy-Vee. I put the request in just on Amazon. Didn't need anything except for the med name and what pharmacy it was at. Put those 2 pieces of information in. I think I did verify my name and date of birth and stuff. And that was one evening. By the next morning, it said it had been filled. Now, the question is, how quickly will it take to get to my house? Because it hasn't arrived yet.
Well, you'll have to report back.
I will report back.
I might have to try it. So there's a pharmacy really close to where I work when I go into the office. And so I liked to use that pharmacy. And so I would do it. And it used to be fine because Thor likes to request his pills when he takes his last pill or maybe 2 days after he took his last pill. He's not good at it. And so I'm usually trying to pick him up that day. But now that I only go to the office maybe 1 day a week, sometimes I don't go to the office at all in a week. It's a giant pain in the ass to get in the car and go drive over there, even though it's literally a mile away. I still don't want to go do it and then get out of the car and go in.
Because you got to go all the way in that building. You got to find a parking spot and then go all the way in that building.
There's no drive-thru.
I know.
There's no drive-thru.
I know it sounds stupid to say it that way, but pharmacies and those buildings are they're not right there. You got to go in and find your way around.
So, So
it is a pain.
I might have to try it.
I'll let you know because I also use that pharmacy and I miss that pharmacy, but I'm not ever there.
Right.
Yeah.
Once a year. There's no need for me to get it monthly refills there.
Okay, more things on this list.
Sorry.
We only got through one.
I derailed us.
41% said falling asleep watching TV.
Every night. Except when I'm here with you girls. Because as soon as I get home, I go to bed.
See, I get too wrapped up in the storyline. I can't go to sleep. I can't fall asleep watching.
Well, see, I get to drive home, so I can kind of decompress
Yeah.
on my drive home. Not that it's
It depends what I'm
far,
watching.
but
That's why
yeah.
you have to watch that mindless shit.
Yes.
Because then it is okay to fall asleep.
Yeah. See, I just feel rather than watching TV, Thor and I usually watch one episode of a show each night. And then he kind of goes off to play his video games or whatever. And I will do whatever I'm going to do. Which sometimes I will watch a show and it's usually a rom-com. I love a good Hallmark movie. Although I have maybe finally burnt myself out on them because it is the exact same formula.
I've never watched
I've never watched a Hallmark movie.
I really like them because they're just so positive and you don't have to think about them because you know what's going to happen in them.
Small town girl meets guy from a city or vice versa.
Well, small town girl moves to city for big job.
Okay.
Gets fired from big job, moves back to small town, runs into high school sweetheart
Okay.
who has grown up and matured and whatever. Shenanigans ensue. Thor likes to say usually around some kind of Christmas festival.
It has to do with Christmas.
He's always like, why are there so many festivals in these movies? How many festivals actually exist out there? And I'm like,
A lot. There are a
You'd be
lot of Christmas
surprised.
festivals.
and then, girl falls in love with boy and it always ends in a very sweet, innocent kiss.
Aw.
Isn't that the premise of Hope Floats?
I don't know what that
I was
is.
thinking Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah.
Well, Sweet Home Alabama's way better version of that. These
Hope
Hallmark
Floats
movies.
has Sandra Bullock and Harry Connick Jr. in it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. So probably.
Where
I
her
mean,
husband goes on basically
Like a Jerry Springer.
Seinfeld. Yeah, Jerry Springer, that's it. And admits to cheating on her with her best friend.
I have
best
not
friend.
seen that movie. I'll have to watch it.
You need to watch this and don't fall asleep.
That's an older movie, too.
It's an
Okay.
oldie but a goodie.
Well, so I've burned out on the Hallmark movies, but Prime actually does several similar movies, but I feel like they're a little more edgy or just a little more interesting. They don't follow that exact formula. So I'll watch that. But I would probably rather than have the TV on, listen to like a podcast or read a book. That's just kind of where I've gotten to.
I watch a lot of YouTube videos. And I will fall asleep watching. Oh, yeah. Like History Time. History Tea Time is one about like a lot of the royals type stuff.
Yeah.
Like old stuff.
Yeah.
Or true crime. Lots and lots of true crime. But I will fall asleep watching that stuff. But like if I have, say, Outlander on, I'm not going to fall asleep. Like that.
No, I got to pay attention to Outlander.
Right.
I got to know what's happening.
You have to know. You can't miss like a minute.
Be thoroughly traumatized unless you watch every second of Outlander and make sure you see
correct.
the horrific things that happen in that show.
Oh, it's so true.
I love it. It's one of my favorite shows.
Same.
I have not done that one.
You have to do it. Oh, it's so good.
There are 2 specific episodes of that show that like are traumatizing and they need better trigger warnings at the beginning.
Oh God.
But it's a good show.
Okay.
It's a great show. Book series also good. And I think the new season comes out in March.
I'm like 1 or 2 seasons behind because it's kind of hard to watch. I'm not a true crime girly because
It's not real. It's time travel. It's not
I
real.
know, but it's still so gory. Like it gets gory and like it's an intense show. So she's looking at me like I'm crazy. It is though an intense.
Well,
show.
if you watch a lot of Hallmark movies, yes, it is probably an intense show. If your husband likes war movies and horror films, it is not an intense show.
Oh my
would
God.
say.
One time my mom and I were driving to Kansas City for my niece's cheer competition. And it's just me and her in the car. Like, I don't know. My niece is already in Kansas City somehow. And so we're driving up. And Mom's like, oh, I have this podcast. You've got to listen to it.
She listens to a lot of true crime.
Yeah. This podcast, I think it was called I Survived.
Oh God.
And this episode, like, was traumatic. It was about this woman who got kidnapped and was, like, raped multiple times by her kidnapper. And then, like, all the, like, in like gory detail she talks about it and like how she escapes and just like how she had to like try to make him believe that she trusted him and you know like and then she like escapes and talks about like how her aunt and uncle she lived with were like terrible and like he had abused her before. Like it was like nothing good about this and it was like so traumatic and I was like, Mom, finally I was like, Mom, you have to turn this off. Like I cannot listen to this anymore. And she's like, it's such a good positive story. She survived. And I was like, no
part of that was positive.
No, this is not good. She's like, no, it's about her strength and how she overcame that. And I'm like, no, like that. So I cannot do that kind of stuff.
Well, so I had to buy earbuds, like the knockoff earbuds, because
the kids.
Yeah. I was like, man, they're gonna think it's okay to murder people. Like, if I don't, because I listened to it like while I cooked dinner in the kitchen.
They were like, what is Mom in there cooking?
Yeah, I'm like over there with my knife, like chopping my scallions for my HelloFresh.
Oh my God.
Okay, the next one on this list says sneaking an extra scoop of ice cream. Lauren, you'll be happy. 38% of respondents said that one.
Wait, what is an extra scoop? Is it like what's the cutoff? Like, okay, 2 scoops is fine, but 3 is that's extra.
Oh, that's it.
I think it's open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure the jackhammers they have 5 scoops in them, so
It's all good. It's your guilty pleasure.
and protein.
And protein.
And protein. 35% said putting off a task.
That's called
That's called procrastination.
Yeah.
That's their guilty pleasure. I don't know how that's a
okay.
pleasure.
Boring.
That stresses me out. Buying yourself a treat is 35%.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Andy's.
Yep, every day. It's fine.
Singing out loud in the car is 34%.
Yes. But I didn't think that would be a guilty
I thought
pleasure.
everybody did that.
I
Yeah.
know. I don't think that's a guilty pleasure. I think that's just a thing you do when you're in the car. I don't really listen to music in the car. I listen to NPR. I'm a boring person. I don't.
You are a
Don't look at me like that.
55-year-old cat lady who is married and has dogs too. But
My husband is old too. I don't know what to tell you. Like I'm old beyond my years. No, I love NPR actually. Like it's very interesting. No, is that a guilty pleasure?
no, I actually used to listen to NPR. I don't anymore. Really no good reason. I just don't. But my ex-husband, I got him into it. And anytime I hear him, like, you know, if I take Collier out to him in the driveway or whatever, he's always listening to NPR. That's like all he listens to now.
I love NPR. I love listening to it. I love the morning news and show and the human interest stuff. And then I love Science Friday. So I will listen to Science Friday, which is just one of the shows they do, and they talk about like fun scientific studies. I will listen to it from home. Like I'll stream it on my little Echo Dot thing that's in my office or Google, whatever it is.
There was a local show that I really liked. I think it's These Ozark Hills.
Oh yeah. And she just does like the stories. Yeah.
It's a local one.
Yeah. Love NPR.
Okay.
Okay. I do too.
Amanda's looking at me like, that's so boring.
Well, she's probably picturing, I think I've talked about this before on the podcast, but like the SNL host, like the sweaty balls. The SNL skit.
Yeah. I know. When I'm in the car, I listen to music. It's just me. And yes, I sing with top of my friggin' lungs.
I love it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
32% said staying in your pajamas all day. I just think that's a Saturday, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's
Also
a day
normal.
Yeah.
Showering once a week.
Yes.
Also normal. Like, I have 4 kids.
That
I
is
to tell you.
not normal.
Okay,
Showering
listen.
once a week is a tough one.
I do shower more than once a week, for the record. This morning, before we even got out of the house, which, you know, we get up at like 6:30 and I leave at 8:20. So it's not that much time. I already had to give Abe a bath because he pooped into his pull-up. And then,
Oh, no.
and I didn't know it. I think I'm still a little like scent blind from COVID a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, I couldn't smell it. And I was like, oh, Abe, put a clean pull-up on before we go to school. And he didn't tell me, he's 3. He didn't tell me that he had pooped in his pull-up. And so he starts to pull it down, smears it all down his back, had it in his pants, on his shirt. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do. And so I like take his shirt off, like, you know, down his shoulders.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to put it
Don't
over
want to
his
smear
head
it anymore.
And I had just gotten a clean, like I use play mats as like changing mats. You know, like they used to have activity gyms that are long gone. And I just pulled one out of the dryer, laid it down, and then this happened. So I like just like roll it all up in that, and I like carry him upstairs. I'm like, you're getting in the bathtub. And he's like trying to play, and I'm like, no, I'm just trying to get the poop off you.
It's those points you really wish you had like a hose.
Yes.
Stand them in there and just
Yep. Just hose them off.
them
Because it
down.
took a lot of scrubbing, and then I felt like my hand, like I needed to boil my hand. So, and of course, Matt's like, he's at the gym working out.
Yeah.
You know, he's just doing his thing. Texting me, hey, how's it going at home? Oh, let me just tell you.
yeah.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
Okay,
Anyways.
McDonald's gets its own line on this list.
Oh wow.
32% said their guilty pleasure is McDonald's specifically.
You know, I used to eat way more McDonald's than I do now. I just don't really like McDonald's that well.
I was gonna say I would honestly go Taco Bell before McDonald's.
Yeah.
I love Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Although I love Mexican food in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't eat McDonald's, but I do like a McDonald's breakfast.
Yeah, I like their breakfast too.
So if I'm feeling like if it's been like a really rough week and it's a Saturday morning, I will like my guilty pleasure maybe is ordering McDonald's breakfast
What do you get?
and paying the $50 to have it delivered.
It's literally like right there.
It really is. It really is.
And they have a drive-through. You can wear your
I know,
pajamas.
it's so wasteful.
Yeah.
What do I get? I like to get the hot cakes.
I love their hotcakes.
I love their
Why
hotcakes.
are they so good?
It's like, I don't know. It's all the crack they put in there.
Yeah.
It's like their Coke. McDonald's Coke is the best.
Well, they have their own formula.
Yes. we
Yeah, it's
talked
like a
about
whole
that.
lot of
I
money
think
they
we
put
talked
into
about
those
this, didn't we?
systems
Probably.
too.
Yeah.
It's like the only useless fact I know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I get McDonald's hotcakes, and I really like their orange juice. Like their
Yeah, I
orange
do
juice
too.
is better. Yeah, and I like their. I get a hash brown,
Oh yeah. Their
Yeah.
friends are the
and I like
best.
to get some scrambled eggs for the dogs.
Oh my god.
And Thor loves.
And you have it
McDonald's.
DoorDash, so you pay $1 bajillion for scrambled eggs for the
No,
dogs.
she Grubhubs it.
Grubhubs.
Well, whatever. Yeah, I do. I really do. Or if I'm feeling like not, if I feel like I can leave the house, like an even better place to go for like Saturday brunch, Big Biscuit.
Okay.
Have you guys eaten at Big Biscuit?
I've only been there once.
I haven't.
Best breakfast place in Springfield.
What's good?
Oh my gosh. Okay. They have this cinnamon roll pancake.
Uh-huh.
You have to get one for the whole table. It's like the entire size of a plate. And it is the most delicious thing on the planet. Thor likes all of their chicken. He says they have good chicken. I don't know what that means, but it's good. They have really good hash browns. They have good oatmeal. They just have good everything. They have the most delicious hot chocolate.
Really?
Interesting.
Go to Big Biscuit, everybody.
Big Biscuit.
It's
Okay.
right by my house.
Delicious.
There's one in that shopping center.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Well, good to know. Okay, what else is on the list?
Binging a whole TV show in one day.
I have only done that once.
What was it? You remember?
Lock and Key on Netflix.
The first season was so good.
So good.
And then I tried to watch the second season and I couldn't get through the first episode.
I don't know if I've watched the second season. The first
Second
season, we
season-
did literally watched it one Sunday, the whole thing.
Yeah, the first season was so good.
Yeah.
And it was like dark and mysterious. The second season felt a little more like preteen angsty, which is not what the first season was. And I was just like, this sucks. Like it was like I could not get through it. And I remember being like, I'm gonna come back to this because the first season was so good. This has to be a fluke. Like I never did.
Yeah.
But it's still on my list. I loved
the first season. It was good.
I binge watch shows all the time. Like if I'm gonna sit down and watch a show, like I want to binge watch it. I want to watch it start because I want to see how the story ends.
Right.
I'm like so bad at it.
Yeah.
that I'll sit down and watch all of it in like a Saturday.
Yeah.
And the same way.
Okay, next on this list, eating an entire bag of chips in one sitting.
I cannot do that.
I don't think I could do that either.
I don't know. I could make a meal out of chips. I love something salty.
I could get pretty far
I get
into a bag of like Lay's or
Yeah.
Ruffles are my favorite.
yeah.
But
I don't think I'd do the whole bag though.
no,
I don't know if I can do the whole bag, but like
I could put a dent in it.
I need a whole
I
bag
could
of
give it a solid
popcorn.
effort.
I could definitely do like a whole bag of popcorn. Not a mini bag, a whole bag.
Whole bag.
Okay. Okay, so we all know TikTok is my not guilty pleasure. I saw there's this gal who's like a lawyer on TikTok, and she always does these episodes, like she does these little videos of like what I won't do because I'm a lawyer, and eating bags of popcorn is one of them because like the microwave popcorn bags, this lining of them has a bunch of like carcinogens and like scary stuff.
I've heard
in them.
that.
Well, I had never heard that, and I was like, "What the actual hell?" Because like I feel like I've been raised on like
Microwave popcorn.
So then I went on to, but she's like, "Oh no, I still eat popcorn every night. Like I love popcorn, so I just
Get an air popper.
bought an air popper." And I was like, "I guess I'm gonna have to do an air popper." So I went to Amazon, and I actually found like this little glass one that you just
It
stick.
looks like a little coffee pot, doesn't it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you just stick the kernels in there and you stick it in the microwave, and you can buy oils or seasonings or whatever you want to put in there, and you can just pop it, and it takes no more time,
Yep.
and it's so much healthier because you don't have all the extra chemicals.
Yeah.
That's what. So I had a Pampered Chef party, which speaking of guilty pleasures, like I don't do MLMs anymore, even though I was used to do one. But I don't do MLMs very, very often anymore. I try to stay away from them. But I still do love Pampered Chef products. And I had a Pampered Chef party several years ago and got like a whole lot of product. And I bought a microwave popcorn maker. It's like a silicone bowl and it collapses. So it's super easy to store. And then you like uncollapse it and you just put your kernels in the bottom. And it has a little thing you can measure with. And I think it takes 2 minutes, 40 seconds
Yeah.
in my microwave. You have to get it centered right in there so that it doesn't, so that it rotates. So it doesn't like burn in one spot. But one of like, I honestly can do like 2 bowls of that because it only cooks like maybe a fourth of a cup of kernels at a time. So like two rounds of those and then some tablespoons of butter, like just melted on the stove or in the microwave. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
With salt. Yeah. And it's much healthier.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I I use butter, so it's not like
Yeah.
that. That's maybe more fattening, but no chemicals in it compared to
Right.
what's in the microwave bag.
I would love to try to learn how to eat popcorn without anything. Because, like plain popcorn is like actually healthy. Like, well, I don't know if it's healthy, but it's like a good snack.
Super low fat.
Yeah.
No sugar. Yeah. Just.
But like, I still like to put like the oil on it. And you know what I mean?
The
Like, all
seasonings and the
salt.
flavors and stuff.
But I would like to. I got myself to the unsweet tea. Maybe I can work on getting myself to the plain popcorn.
You
Yeah.
could also just eat rice cakes.
Those are miserable. I've never
I
enjoyed a
feel
rice
like it's
cake.
the same.
I'm not doing a rice cake. At least the popcorn's warm.
Lisa's you gonna heat your rice cake up in the microwave.
Rice cakes are miserable. Like rice cakes
I
are for
feel
sad
like
people.
unbuttered, unsalted popcorn is also miserable. But whatever.
Okay, this next one, watching Disney films and cartoons as an adult. 25% said that's their guilty pleasure. Is that not something we're supposed to do?
Well, okay, so I have kids, so obviously I've seen a lot of them. But okay, like Moana or Encanto, like Jordan, have you gone out and watched those?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, yeah. I feel like I'm genuinely asking because I have kids, so that's why I have watched them. But I feel like they're really good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love Disney.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call myself like a Disney adult or anything, like those people who are kind of crazy about Disney.
Yeah.
But like we love to go to Disney World every couple of years. We like to watch all this stuff. Like, like we enjoy Disney.
Well, no, I feel like the movies
The movies are good.
are
The colors
they're
in the
genuinely
movies are
good.
just so amazing.
And the music's
And the
really,
music's
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, now those are movies I would rather watch at home than like pay to see in a theater.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, a lot. So the ones I just mentioned, Moana and Encanto, they're Lin-Manuel
Miranda.
Miranda who did Hamilton. So
Yeah.
I mean, of
And In
course
the
they're
Heights
going to be
and- yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, although I will say, like, I would rather watch any movie at home than go to a movie theater.
Yeah, I don't know. We went to the movies not that long ago and saw a movie for the first time in like, probably a couple years, and it was really fun.
I can't remember the last time we went to
But-
the movie theater.
It's like a date. Like I'm perfectly happy watching movies at home.
Thor loves to go see movies, so we do go out to the movie theater. I don't like sitting in there with the cattle, and I don't like people looking at me or talking to me or getting close to me. Like I just am so much more comfortable at home, and I don't understand his freaking TV up there is like the size of a movie
Right.
screen
Yeah.
anyway. I don't understand why
We have to go out. Yeah.
He probably has all the sound stuff, like the sound bar and all that, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. And so like I don't know why we have to go out, but we do, and I do it.
I feel like movie theaters are different though. Like when we were kids, yes, cattle for sure, like just smushed in there. But you go to the Alamo and there's not that many seats in that theater, and you have all that space, and even like the IMAX by my house, I feel like is the same way. Like there's still like it's way roomier.
It's the recliner seats now too.
Yeah.
They don't have.
I feel like it's
the
a lot nicer than it
stadium
used to
seating
be.
and the
Like it's
thing.
more
It is.
comfortable.
Yeah.
You're right. It is nicer than it used to be. And that is like a bare minimum for me is like the reclining seats and like the bigger seats because people are not as close to me.
Yeah.
But it's still not as nice as my couch and my
No.
pajamas.
No, but
my
you're doing it for your
dogs.
husband, so
Doing it for my hubby.
yes.
It's okay.
Yeah.
What's that sound?
Hot Mess Express coming into the station.
Choo choo. Okay, this week's Hot Mess Express, I think, is going to be the most relatable Hot Mess Express story we have ever read on this podcast because I can totally see myself doing something stupid like this. And I will tell you, like, I had I still don't know. There's a phone number that shows up in group texts from my husband's family in my phone. And I genuinely don't know if it's my brother-in-law or sister-in-law. They're married. One of them is sending the information. I had it in my phone as my sister-in-law for like years. And Thor told me very recently that's his brother's phone number. And I'm like, I don't know if I would have been as nice to him. Like I don't know what I've sent her. But
That's funny.
so I still don't really know if I trust him or not. Like I don't know whose phone number that is.
To piggyback on that, so Helen is in kindergarten, and we had their school dance on Friday, and I met one of her fellow kindergartners' moms. Don't know her name, but her daughter wanted me to take pictures of her and her mom and then send them to her mom. So I did. So I put her in my phone as like her name, this little girl's name's Emily, is Emily's mom. Well, now Emily's mom has been texting me like every day asking if Helen and Emily can FaceTime, which is fine. They FaceTimed a couple times. I still don't know the lady's name. So she like texts me or calls me and it's just like Emily's mom. And I like don't like, I feel like I'm past the point
Where
of
you
like
can ask?
asking her. Maybe I just need to ask Emily. I don't know. Like,
Ask
I'm like,
Helen.
sure.
Like, Helen, what is Emily's mom?
Oh, she's not gonna know. I'm like, Helen, what did you and Emily talk about on the phone? I don't know. They didn't talk about anything. She's like, look, here's my dog's butt. Here's my brother with the crayon. Like, you know, it's just what do you have to talk about when you're in kindergarten? Nothing. Nothing. Okay, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to derail the hot mess.
Okay, this was posted on Reddit by Dutch Mastakilla 0. So, you know, that's going well. It's in the Reddit funny stories. And I just like so related to this. I was like, this is something I would do. I haven't done it, but I feel like I got real close with my brother or sister-in-law's phone number.
TBD.
TBD.
So for the last 5 months, my wife has been calling her parents' home phone number that's saved in her phone. Sometimes the call goes to voicemail and she leaves a message, but most of the time she calls a man who isn't in her family that answers. The first few times she was spooked out, hung up, and then called her mom's cell number instead. One time when the man picked up, she called him out and says, "This is my parents' phone. How did you get this number?" He says, "This is not your parents' phone. Stop calling," and hangs up. Now, up until 2 days ago, I had no idea any of this happened until she tried to call her home number while I was around, and the same thing happens. She calls the number, the man answers, and she hangs up immediately. She is visibly spooked and explains everything to me. How this has been happening for months and how she thinks a scammer has spoofed their phone and trying to deceive people calling her parents. So I say, "Have you checked the number you have saved in your phone?" She looks at the number and just has this stunned expression on her face. She says, "Oh my God, I have been calling the wrong number for months. I had the last digit wrong this whole time." We both start laughing hysterically, and I tell her, "At least you now know why your mom hasn't been returning your voicemail."
I love this one because
That's a good one.
that's totally something I would do. I like how she called multiple times and like the guy's like, "This is not your mom's phone.
not your mom.
Do not call here again." And like she still keeps calling.
Yeah.
And like the extent she goes to of like, he must have spoofed their number.
Right.
And he's scamming people. And it's like, no, you have the wrong number in
It's
your
a
phone.
much simpler explanation
Yeah.
as to what's going on here.
That is funny. God.
Oh, it's perfect.
Well, no matter how big of a hot mess you were this week, you probably know your parents' phone number. So you got that going for you.
Yeah.
Email us your Hot Mess Express stories or your own personal hot mess story at hotmessroundtable@gmail.com. And we look forward to interacting with everyone on our Facebook group this week. Whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on, please like and subscribe and rate us if you can. But we only want 5 stars, please. Don't rate us if you're going to give us less. Share the podcast with your friends and let's grow our community of hot messes. And thank you guys for listening.
Thank you so much.
Have a great week.